Welcome to Rewatch-and-Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other, and today's episode is Death Note Part 2, Episode 30, Justice. Episode in a nutshell is a brief reminder of what happened in the episode. So in this episode, a few different things have happened. Mello is revealed to be alive, and he does approach Nier. He still refuses to work with Nier, but he retrieves the photo that Nier has in his possession and manages to, in exchange for that photo, provide information to Nier, which makes him, rather gives him an advantage in the fight against Kira. Mello reveals to Nier that the Death Notes are owned by Shinigami, which are real, and also that some of the rules in the Death Note are fake, which Nier is able to deduce is that 13-day rule. We also have Nier coming to the conclusion that whoever the second L is will also be Kira, and therefore that Kira is working with the task force, as the task force gaining the cooperation of Kira and another notebook from Kira was way too convenient in the last episode. We then also have, through this back and forth, Light deciding that Nier is too dangerous and he has to set a trap for Nier. And so he sends a TV personality who's hosting a show called Kira's Kingdom, Demagawa, to New York to basically raid Nier's headquarters and drag him out of the headquarters. Meanwhile, Misa is sitting in front of a laptop with her Shinigami eyes in the notebook to write Nier's name as soon as he comes out. And while all this is going on in the background, based on the things that Nier has said over the speaker as he's speaking with Light, Aizawa has started to suspect Light once again and is considering on his own reinvestigating Light again, even though Matsuda doesn't think that this is a good idea because the chief, Soichiro, before he passed on, confirmed with his Shinigami eyes that Light did not own a notebook. Anyways, the episode is left on the cliffhanger of the raid on Nier's headquarters and Misa waiting to draw the name, and Nier getting angry within the headquarters, snapping the head off of a Transformers doll, realizing once again that second L probably is going to be Kira. So now that we've been reminded about what happened in this episode, we'll now rank the episode. As always, we'll rank on our mostly objective ranking list, which uses set values to determine the score, followed by the personal ranking list, which is based on my opinion of the episode. So starting with our mostly objective rank values, worth 1 point, we have our single arc supporting character introduction, which was Demagawa, who is the host of a TV show. Worth 2 points, bringing us to 3, is the single arc main character development, which of course is the reveal of Mello's survival with only a scar on his face, and Mello making the trade for information for his photo, and basically renewing his rivalry with Nier in the process of which one of them is going to catch Kira first. Bringing us to 6, we have another 3 points for our multi-arc supporting character development, which is Aizawa deciding to open the investigation on Light again privately and secretly. And then finally, bringing us up to 10, we have world building, which is the reveal of the new TV show called Kira's Kingdom, hosted by Demagawa, where he is proclaiming himself to be a spokesman of Kira and basically just eulogizing about how great Kira is and all of his plans and blah, blah, blah. However, there is one negative, and that negative is a continuity error. So I may be wrong about this one, but when Light took over for L, he used the voice changer that L used when communicating. And when he first started communicating with the, like, back and forth with Nier, they also use the voice changer. Then in this episode, suddenly the voice changer is no longer there when he's talking to Nier, and it's just his real voice and Nier's real voice. Yet when he calls the president, the voice changer is still there. So I don't know if they just forgot to put the voice changer there, if they're just wanting us to assume it's there. Maybe somebody on the team got annoyed with the way the voice changer sounded. But either way, up until this episode, I'm fairly, or at least I hadn't noticed that they weren't using the voice changer, and this is the first time I've noticed they're not using the voice changer when they were originally, and so I'm taking 4 points for it because I think that that is falling under that category. Which brings this episode overall to a 6 out of 10. And so our part 2 ranking so far has Justice in first place this episode, Father, Abduction, and then Impatience is currently fourth. So for my personal opinion of the episode, yeah, it's difficult for me. So I've mentioned before, I'm not a huge fan of part 2, and this episode made me realize yet another reason why. So in part 1, it was obviously a cat and mouse game between Light and Elle, and it was very focused on them trying to catch each other. Light trying to find out Elle's name, Elle trying to catch Light out as Kira, and it was very focused on their game of cat and mouse. With part 2, not only do we have Elle's successors who are just not Elle, so therefore not as awesome, but it's no longer like a cat and mouse between Kira and those trying to catch him, because Mello and Nier, like, Kira's more of an afterthought. They're really just playing with each other, who's going to catch Kira first, and I don't care enough about them to care who's going to catch Kira first. And then Kira, Light, is kind of like an afterthought on the side. Additionally, Light just simply isn't living up to our expectations that were set in part 1 for him as a character. His plans are failing, his plans are leading to people dying. Even this plan, as a rewatcher, we know it's going to fail. Like, he's not going to get Nier's name, he's not going to kill Nier. And even though they left us on the cliffhanger of maybe it will work, it's also only 4 episodes in out of 11, so we know it's going to fail. And again, that's one more of Light's plans that is just not going to work out. And it's like either Light got stupid, or because this is the part where they want to end the story, they're basically ruining Kira's character arc as in like the process. But I think part of what bothers me is that whole, it's not a cat and mouse between Kira and those trying to catch him anymore. It's Elle's successors basically playing with each other, Light being an afterthought, and then Light being kind of dimmer than he was in the first part. Dim as in like less charismatic, less successful, plans not really going as they should, etc., etc. So overall, like, I didn't hate this episode. It wasn't super bad. I like that it's revealed that Mello is alive. I do think that if I did care more about the successors, that I would be happy that, you know, Mello's there. And I do like Mello and Nier's, interactions. Like, if Mello was Kira and Nier was Light, I think it would be okay. But the fact is they're not. They're L's successors competing against each other. And it's not the same, obviously. That's why it's part 2, not part 1. But I feel like it's not the same in a worse way. And then, of course, they set up a plan of Kira's that we know was going to fail, and therefore I just gave it a 5 because while it was entertaining to watch and I was engaged in the episode, I just didn't really enjoy it. And I also know, even if it was the first watch through, you would know because it's only the 4th episode that he's not going to succeed. Just like they revealed he didn't succeed in even killing Mello in the like big bang that Mello caused. Though to be fair, that makes sense because Mello's the one who caused the big bang, so he probably had a reason, not a reason, probably had a plan to escape alive before he would do something like that, and therefore his survival makes sense and isn't really Kira's fault. But still, I don't know, 5 out of 10. I felt like it was average. Which then brings us to our ranking so far on the list. And first we had Father this episode. I put second, Justice, third, Abduction, and fourth is Impatience. So for our series ranking so far, mostly objective ranking, Part 1 so far has a score of 70.77%. Part 2 is at 15 out of 110. On the personal side, Part 1 ended with 60.38%, and Part 2 so far has 17 out of 110. With that, we've now rewatched and ranked Death Note Part 2, Episode 30, Justice. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode.